Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 6 of the show. In today's episode, we're talking about magical Marrakesh, ponytail art by our husbands.
We discuss random acts of kindness and also describe each other's style.
And we end on how we're trying to be more mellifluous. We hope you enjoy. So a couple of weeks ago, we were in Marrakesh, weren't we, for our Spring/Summer 23 What the Brand shoot. And we just need to look back at that time as being magical.
It really
magical
was.
Marrakesh, right?
I love that.
I love that.
And there were a few moments where we were shooting. You were in the mocha dress. I was in the mocha linen set, which, guys, is coming.
I can't even describe.
So good. Every outfit that we put on in Marrakesh, we were just like, cannot believe this is head to toe, full what? The bag, the belt, the sunglasses, the shoes. Like, it's wild that our brand has somehow transformed into a whole lifestyle.
And I had those moments. I'm the emotional one, fair to say, although you were extremely emotional in Marrakesh. But I had that moment behind my sunglasses. Yeah. My eyes just kept welling up.
Yeah.
I think because, well, like we always say, we don't take for granted that that's our job. And the fact that we were in a foreign country, somewhere as beautiful and amazing as Marrakesh, working for ourselves, for our brand, wearing our own clothes head to toe, it almost just stopped me in our tracks, like with a team of people. And I just couldn't shake that overwhelming feeling of just utter proudness and almost not disbelief, because that's a bit negative, but I just
like an out-of-body experience.
Yes, absolutely.
And also, I think it's one of those things, you know, when you put so much pressure on yourself, and there was a lot of pressure on this because, of course, budgets, you know, the budgets come from our pot. So every penny counts, and the expectation.
And what we need to achieve when we get there, it is literally by the minute, what outfits, how many shots, getting it back to Nikki in the UK. Like, it was just
a lot going on. There was no sitting and chilling. It was full on. It was amazing. But we were shooting, and 1 minute Sarah said, sorry, I've just got to stop.
I had to walk away.
Took her glasses off, like actually full on tears. And for me also, I just felt just emotional in the sense of, wow, what a 360 it is to be here, specifically in that hotel. And we're going to go into why we chose Marrakesh, but I went to this hotel in Marrakesh, Palais Namaskar. It must have been about 15 years ago when I was working at You Magazine. So I was the assistant at the time, the gopher, loving life, but the bottom of the list. And then all of a sudden, 15 years or so later, I'm there for my own brand, shooting our own campaign. And that's a moment to just take it and be like, wow, this is amazing.
I think as well, we really worked hard our way up to kind of get to where we are today. And like we said before, we just don't take that for granted. Yeah. It just, I don't know, it really stood out to us. It was I think it was probably a moment that we both looked on more than any other moment in a long time.
It felt real. It felt amazing. But lots of you have said, why Marrakesh and why are we doing these big campaign shoots? We thought we would start today's episode just kind of explaining the reasoning why we are doing these trips, giving narrative to our collections, and just kind of give you guys a little bit of an insight into the reason behind it.
So it started off in Paris, didn't it? For our collection in winter, we really wanted to do a bit of storytelling. We wanted to bring the collection to life. And, you know, as visual creative people, we really felt that being in our studio, even in a model, you know, having our models in another studio, we couldn't tell the story of the collection. So going to Paris was our way to bring the clothes to life, to showcase them how we thought they would look their best. And then when it came to spring/summer, it was mutually, it was the only place to go, right?
Yeah. And also bearing in mind, we didn't want to go away for too long.
Or too far.
Kids logistics and everything. We needed amazing weather, and we thought, right, Marrakesh. And I obviously remembered that I'd been there multiple times for You Magazine. It just, as Sarah said, felt like the right decision. But just to continue what you were saying in terms of like bringing the collection to life, giving it a narrative, we're all about giving all the inspirations on all the different levels. And as you said, bringing the collection to life, but also helping you guys see how you will wear the collection, because as you said, there's only so much you can tell or show in a studio shoot. And whilst that's amazing and we have to have those, we actually you might know, you may not know, we did take a little bit of a step back in terms of modeling the collection so much on ourselves last year. We had a conversation with someone. It was a great conversation, an amazing conversation, and we were so appreciative to have that time with her. But I think it's also really important when you're building a brand. Great to have those conversations with people, great to listen and hear, but sometimes it might not be right for that moment in time.
And for us,
yes.
You know, one person's advice doesn't mean it works for us.
Yes.
And I think we experimented with, like you said, taking a step back, really pushing model shots and how we work with influencers. But I think we missed the biggest part, which was people really want to see how we're wearing the clothes that we design because we love them. They really enjoy seeing how we're styling them, from our trainers to the accessories. So for us, you know, we're really excited to get that back and to showcase our clothes in the most beautiful surroundings, which is, I think we achieved that in Marrakesh.
I can't wait for you guys to see it. And all the shadows, it just felt so, you know, when everything falls into place.
But also just want to share that the amount of prep and how it works when we're kind of putting together our shoot. We spend weeks and weeks looking at inspiration on Pinterest, on other influencers, kind of looking at shots and different shadows that we might want to get, different backgrounds, and then we kind of bring them into our own way and our own style. And that whole process,
it takes
the
weeks.
Mood boards, the printouts, then we rack up the looks, don't we? Then we will bring the looks home, we'll try them on with our own wardrobes, we'll say, no, right, you need to wear that, I need to wear this, pictures backwards and forwards. Every single detail is thought about, and no detail goes unmissed.
And there might be just a simple detail. There was one reference of Sincerely Jules. If any of you follow her, you'll know what I mean. Like, obviously her aesthetic is so gorgeous, especially when she's abroad, which she is pretty much the whole time. She lives in LA.
It's not quite the same in London, sadly.
No. And there was one shot of her just sitting on the steps in white trousers and a vest. I thought, oh my gosh, we've got to shoot our look like that. And I think it's really amazing to be able to take inspiration from someone. Everyone takes references and inspiration from everywhere.
Absolutely.
But it's how you interpret it, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's not copying, it's just finding
it's part
sources
of, the
inspiration.
You know, and as our backgrounds in styling, that's what you do. That's just the way it works. But enough about Marrakesh. We need to give a shout out to our husbands that managed the load whilst we were away. Now, my favourite point of the husbands, I'm going to laugh when I'm saying this, whilst we were away, is the daily hair pics of the girls.
And we equally received the same.
I got from Craig, nailed the top knot this morning, and Alex, Ava had like a two-pronged hairstyle. Oh my gosh,
so I had a video, he sent me a video of the kids saying, Mummy, I love you, I miss you, can't wait to see you. And then all of a sudden, Ava turns around and she has a top pony and a low pony. And as lots of you know, if you've listened to our previous episodes, she recently did chop off the top ponytail.
So basically she had a top
she
tuft.
had like a pineapple kind of thing going on at the top, and then a rock star pony. But
I've got to say, they did a great job, obviously, kind of getting everything organised before we're going. And, you know, I've got, you know, the dog, the foot, you know, everything. There's lots to think about, and they did a very good job. Even the hairstyles. We are
very grateful. We're very grateful. And for our mums as well for helping.
Yep.
Big shout out.
We love you all.
Right, before we move on from Marrakesh, one conversation that was so funny. So we were there, the two of us, with our assistant Grace, who was amazing.
Amazing.
We have told her endless times how great she was.
We love her to pieces. And Zoe, our photographer, who is beyond, and we're very lucky to have such a fab team.
But we were having lunch on the first day while we were shooting, and got onto the subject of describing our style for some reason. And it's weird because it's definitely one of those things that people we pick up on. We do get asked often, how would you describe your style? But we've never had like a real conversation about it.
And also, just a caveat, we obviously buy the same things in everything all the time. So our wardrobes are exactly the same. I mean, say 90%.
And before this conversation, I always thought we did dress really similar.
See,
but now I'm thinking we don't.
But I always think that we're same but different. Yeah. So we wear the same things, but I would say that we have like differences in our style.
So the girls described my style as sporty, which I just find so weird because I would never describe myself as sporty.
And then they described me as bougie,
which I'm here for, because you do love a bougie vibe.
I do
the
love
frills, the feathers, the sequins.
I mean, you're like basing it on one dress I wore to a wedding last week.
But it brought us on to think about how we would describe each other's style in 3 words.
And we've really been lolling about this. So number one, I'm saying classic. Because I feel like you like those classic pieces.
Yeah.
You like, whilst I might do a ruffle on a sleeve, you wouldn't be vibing off that straight
Correct.
away.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Classic. Next, I'm saying tonal. You are all about those tonal
I'm
vibes.
with you
That's
on that
fair.
one. Yeah. Okay, you're being really kind to me.
My last one. Leggy.
I am quite leggy.
Because you like the shorts and the leggings.
I do like the shorts. Thank
You've
you,
got the
Mum and
pins.
Grandma, for the jeans of the legs.
Not thank you, Mum and Grandma, for the jeans of my legs.
Okay, that's nice. I like the
Don't
both
be
sporty.
mean. Don't be mean back to
Okay,
me. Stunning, gorgeous, beautiful. Keep going.
my first one. You're gonna really be freaked out by this.
I'm scared.
Opulent. I think you are very opulent. Okay, I know I'm referring to
You're
the
referring
wedding,
to the
sequin
wedding.
feathered look.
Okay.
But you are definitely more bougie than I am.
All right, I'll
when
take
it
that on
comes to
board.
fashion.
Okay, I'll take that on board.
Minimal from one extreme to
Yeah.
the next, which is quite you.
Yeah.
You can go from 0 to 0.
What are you saying? No, I like
No,
that.
but you've
'cause
got two
like
sides.
yeah.
Like today,
Yeah.
you like
Be minimal.
your...
No feathers and sequins for the podcast today.
And my last one, which I think is a good one.
Yeah.
You're very relatable with your style. I think lots of
you.
our followers relate to perhaps your physique
Okay.
and your vibes.
Okay, I
Are-
like it.
are you
Thank
happy with those three?
I'm happy with those three. You happy with my three?
I am. I think
Okay.
you're really kind.
I like that.
I appreciate
so
that.
anyone, if you want to add any other words to our style, we're very interested, because it's funny. The reason that I kind of, in my mind, know that we're a bit different is because of the inbox messages that I always see from people like, oh, how would Philippa wear that? Or would Sarah wear that in that way? So I do think we have like slightly different personalities, which I like.
Also, I guess different bodies, different,
Absolutely.
what we kind of are drawn to.
Yeah, and what we gravitate to.
There we go. From one career highlight of going to Marrakesh, there was also a very epic fail that we both experienced a couple of weeks ago
I'm actually still traumatized.
with the kids. It was Friday afternoon.
It was also pouring with torrential rain, which makes everything worse, by the way.
We were shooting a campaign for a brand that we love. We were very excited. We were prepared. We thought we were prepared.
But we don't often include the kids anymore,
No.
do we? So this was
A rare
occasion.
occasion.
And now never happening again.
In our heads, we thought it was a great idea. Not so much. Friday afternoon, they all finished school and nursery. We had set up the table, laid it all out. It was Easter themed. So obviously chocolate is involved in the
and
situation.
also chocolate, when we say the amount of chocolate, that we're still eating it now at home. So please just use your
there's definitely
imagination.
none left in my house.
Yeah.
So it's 4:00. They all arrive back. We get them dressed for the shoot, which, as you can imagine, doesn't go so well. But they behave. They're playing beautifully in the playroom. And then we're like, right, bang, inside,
Come on,
sit
quickly.
down.
Have a bit of chocolate to take one photo, please. Just smile for 1 second. You've got this. Just one picture.
And basically what we did is we just stuffed their faces at 4:00 on a Friday afternoon with chocolate for the shoot.
Oh my God.
Just to keep them happy and keep them seated.
And they
The
were
aftermath.
Wild. Edie had about 9 chocolate eggs. She had more chocolate in the space of 20 minutes than she's had in her whole life.
Ava was just unwrapping all the
Literally,
eggs.
she was being a
That
queen.
was her game.
The boys were.
Oh my gosh,
All they
they
were
were
doing.
battling.
They were battling their faces. They got undressed at one point.
It was a disaster.
Wait, and then what did we do after that?
It was actually your idea.
Because I needed to feed them dinner, so we got them McDonald's. I mean,
So my mum was there on the shoot
What
as
were
a
we
spare
like?
set of hands, and she was mortified by this behaviour. And she said, Philippa, you have to think what you're putting into your kids is how they are behaving. So you have just got them home from school and shoved
on a Friday,
chocolate
on a
down
Friday,
their
the
face.
energy.
And then McDonald's. What do you expect? And she reminded me of my brother,
Yeah.
who, do you remember Sunny D?
oh my God, I thought about that for
My
years.
brother was obsessed with Sunny Delight.
What even is in that?
All the additives and everything. And he used to just run laps around the garden after. So it was like absolutely banned from our
That's
house.
hilarious.
And she said, like, you've got to be just a bit more mindful with what you're putting into your kids.
We prioritised getting the shot over what we were feeding them. And
we
I
will not
and
do
I-
that again. So epic fail. It was a great week, but Friday was not such a success.
But we did manage
move
to get
on.
a few pictures. So when you do see our kids inhaling chocolate over on Instagram, please do like it, comment, and we'll be really grateful. So I want to talk about a little story that happened to me last weekend. I was having a coffee. Craig had nipped to the loo. They brought the coffees over. And for some reason, they brought 3 coffees. And there was a man behind me.
The
and
guy liked you.
Yeah, he liked me. And I said to him, oh, I've got this spare cappuccino. Would you like it? I just didn't even, think about it. And he said, no one ever does stuff like that to me. And it just made me think it was such a non-thing for me, but you could see how much it meant to him. And it's those small random acts of kindness, but also make you feel good as well.
I was just about to say, I'm so with you on this, but all I can hear is Phoebe from Friends.
I hear you. I hear you.
What are you doing it for the right
but
reason?
I didn't
the
do
wrong
it
reason?
for that, because he could have just said, thanks.
Yeah.
But he didn't. But it was the way he responded.
That
and
made
then you
you
just
feel
think,
so
like,
good.
what are those little things that are such a non-thing that you can do that actually makes someone else feel better, but also give you a bit of a warm feeling as well? Because I was never doing it to get something back.
But it just made you
it
feel...
comes with it.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, why aren't we all just doing nice things all the time?
We should.
Then it
I
benefits
mean, as
everyone.
simple as just smiling at someone in
Always.
the street.
You know I'm a smiler.
You are a smiler.
Phil's takes ages to recognise anyone.
It was just, I'm so in the zone.
Vision, whereas I notice everything all the time. So I'm always like, hi, hi, hi. I think smiling.
Well,
when someone smiles back.
Yeah, true. And also when we were on the aeroplane the other day and Sarah... Obviously, it was so heavy.
I was very bougie with my big case.
And this guy just said, oh, do you need a hand lifting that up? How nice of him.
But
made him feel
and we
good.
were like, thank you so much. That's really kind. And you could see that he felt good for helping us, because we were like, oh, there are gents left in the world. But also, I think another good one is just complimenting people, on their outfit, or you've had a haircut, or, anything like that. Because if you think it,
small.
To say it.
Yeah, I know, I agree. It is a funny conversation because there's two ways to it. Because what are you doing it for? I know that you are doing it all for the right reasons and not for anything in return, but you can't help but then think you're then needing that.
Well, also,
feeling.
then if you tell the story, there's that whole conversation where you're doing something to be nice, you're feeling good, and then you're sharing the story.
I know, I'm with you. So as lots of you know, in this part of the episode, we like to do a little section on influenced influencers, which we truly are. But this week is a little bit different. We have been influenced through each other. Obviously, being away for 3 days, we always like to have a little spy on what each other's
What are you using over there, Philippa?
And Sarah had this Beauty Pie perfume, which I'm still wondering why I don't have it. You definitely sneaked that one
I stole
home.
the package.
But this perfume, so if any of you know what the Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess perfume smells like, imagine that, but a million times better.
Coconutty.
Oh,
summery.
It's so sexy.
Vibey. It's
vibey.
Called, I don't know how to pronounce it, Figuier de Dalmati. And let me tell you.
It's heaven.
Sensational. And you kept spraying it without asking my permission, FYI.
Every time I went into the bathroom,
I was like, sorry, that's mine?
It's so, so good. So I need to get myself this perfume because I need to smell like that every day.
You need to smell like me.
You know, in the summer, actually, I do always use Bronze Goddess just on the regular.
But
because you just feel like
sometimes things come to an end.
Yeah.
And I feel I'm ready to close that chapter of my life and start again with Beauty Pie.
I'm
pushing 40.
Feel you.
So are you.
Don't age me. I am 34. 35. I am 35.
Okay. Every single week we talk about age. She tries to pretend that she's younger than she is. You are not 35. Everyone. She's not 34.
35.
Okay.
You're 38.
But you did influence me this holiday as well.
What did I have that you liked?
Oh, the Sally Hansen fake tan.
Game changer.
Oh my God. So this is a spray, but it's wash on, wash off, which I'm not really a fake tan gal, am I? But this makes you a bronze goddess.
We were slightly concerned on the tan situation in Marrakesh. Obviously, shooting spring, summer, lots of limbs being out.
But this, with a mitt, you put it on. It's
so
the most
easy.
easy, natural tan. We even did each other's backs, the back of each other's legs.
So I come out in my towel and I said, Sarah, do you mind putting this on my back? And it reminded me of like the times that my mum on holiday has always asked me to put sun cream on her back. And there's something about rubbing sun cream on anyone's back that just freaks the shit out of me.
But thankfully I wore a mitt, so my hands didn't have to actually go on her skin, so I lived to tell the tale. But we will link below because they are so good.
You need to know about it if you don't. So I'm pleased that I've influenced you on that one because that's a very affordable thing.
It's really good from
very
Boots.
Quick, very
and
easy.
Also, do you know what? Top tip, if you're wearing, as the weather gets nicer, a crop trouser or something, but your feet are ghastly white like ours, even if you just put a bit of the tan with the mitt on your feet, looks so much better.
It changes
or even
everything.
if you're going out on a Saturday night and you're wearing a sleeveless top and you just want to put some on your arms.
It does transfer a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little. But also whilst we were away, I learned something about you that I didn't know.
I learned something about you as well.
Oh no, I'm scared.
You go first.
So we obviously go to sleep, and I always have this thing. I actually do wear my hair up a lot, and I knew I was going to, but on the first day I wanted to have my hair down, nice and tonged and down. So I go to sleep, and I have this conversation with myself pretty much every night. Do I put it up here? Do I put it down there? Do I leave it out? Will it kink?
This is so that you can
so that the next day it will look okay, because we didn't have time to like really do our hair properly the next day before we had to start shooting. So I put mine up here. I wake up the next morning, go brush my teeth. Sarah comes into the bathroom. Her hair is down like she has just freshly tongued it. And I'm like, what? How, have you done your hair? She's like, no, I've just woken up. Her hair looked like this. And she hadn't put it up.
For everyone that's watching.
So Sarah Ellis
wakes up with perfect hair.
Yeah, and it's just not fair. I'm just telling you that.
I'm going to take that one. I'm going to say that I put it in a low pony in one of those, those swirly hairbands.
Yes.
And it does just stay. But I did use
How many times do you go round?
No, quite loose, just like 1, 2. So
and then
it
stays
loose.
The whole time?
It stays the whole time, but it's better like day 2 of like tonguing. By day 3, day 4, it definitely dropped. But maybe I'm not a sweaty sleeper.
See, that's my issue. I get quite, although I don't move in my sleep, I do get quite wet here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
Philippa
why I
in her
learned
sleep.
about you. I've slept with Philippa many a time. However, I did not know that she talks in her sleep.
I do.
And on the first night, I woke up, this is the God's honest truth, to her saying, what a good idea. I was like...
I'm definitely dreaming about the club sandwich we had.
But imagine just minding your own business in your sleep and waking up to the person next to you saying, I was like, what the is going on here? And then you said, that's a really good idea. And you said something else,
but
happy
you remembered.
You said something else. It was like you were having like a conversation with yourself. I'm not sure what it was about. Thankfully, no other male names were mentioned.
It is always a bit of a worry. I mean, Alex has been known to write it down as
Brilliant.
I'm talking so that he doesn't
But if
forget.
you would have prepared me, I would have like...
It's a weird one because it's not every night.
Yeah.
And if anyone else out there sleep talks, it's a weird thing because in your sleep you know you're doing it, but it's almost so natural.
Do you?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. You're
So
kind
you're
of
not asleep
like
and not
semi
awake.
Yeah, it's a weird state of consciousness. You know you're talking, but you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
But also what's weird is that when, I know we talk about, it seems to be a topic of conversation, your sleep, you don't wake up in the night, which I find so bizarre. I wake up so many times. I mean, bear in mind, you were like having a full-blown conversation. But I was like, how do you sleep? You're like, yeah, I just went to sleep and woke up at 6 the next morning.
It's a skill.
I wake up, I toss, I turn, look for my muzzy.
This is the other thing I learned about you, which I did know. You guys need to know. Sarah Ellis sleeps with a muzzy. Stinky muzzy.
It's actually clean.
It's worrying.
I am aware that this is a very strange thing, and I'm okay to admit it because I'm comfortable in my own
I don't think
skin.
you're going to be alone here. I'm
not
sure
alone,
lots of you are listening.
But if I look from the outside and I think as a
yourself.
38-year-old woman sleeping with a muzzy and that like wakes up in the night to find it, that's bizarre.
And before you go to bed, she sits there with her phone. So she's like lying down, we're like doing some work, and she's got it like here, and she's like smushing it all over her face, getting the texture on her, and she's like smelling it. She's got it in her mouth.
No, I do not have it in my mouth. I'm not my children. That is unfair. I just sniff it. It's so soft. I've had it, not the same one, but I've had it since I was born, and I'm just a muzzy girl.
Oh my gosh.
And just very quickly, we were talking on the plane. They were taking the piss out of me with the girls, and then we were saying that what happens if you met a guy
who also
had a muzzy, and we were thinking he's a 10 but
But
he sleeps with a muzzy.
I actually
that would
know.
be icky for me.
I will not name names, but I
Name
know.
and shame?
No, never. I can't. But they're a couple, and they both sleep with a muzzy.
Okay, I want to end today on a new word I learnt this week.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
Who taught it to you?
So friend Natalie, who has Pickles and Bakes, which, by the way, is the best biscuit cookie for kids. Promise we give her a shout out because she's epic. She is a wordsmith. And
she actually is.
She's
got a very nice tone to her voice. If you watch her reels.
She's very good. This is in keeping with that. So we're talking about podcasts. She said she was listening to ours, which was very lovely. And then she talked about another podcast, and she said this girl's voice was mellifluous.
Ooh.
Never, ever heard that word before.
I don't know. I've got no idea what it means.
Okay, it means pleasingly smooth and musical to hear.
That is Natalie.
But we were talking about podcasts, she was referring to someone else. So I was a little perturbed that she wasn't talking about my voice or your voice.
You are definitely not mellifluous.
Rude. You're definitely not mellifluous.
No, I'll take that. I know
Okay,
I'm not.
fine. I'm not mellifluous either. Thank you so much for listening. We are loving doing this podcast, as you know, and hopefully I'm sounding mellifluous to you all.
Also, please tell us how and when you listen to our podcast. We received the loveliest image on Instagram last week of a lovely follower listening to us on her morning walk. She would look like she was in the countryside.
Oh, it was epic.
It just looked sensational. So we love knowing, are you doing your makeup, cooking, hiding from the kids, hiding from your husband,
hiding from work,
everything? Are you in bed? What are you doing? We want to know.
And thank you so much, as always, for listening. Please do like, subscribe, share, follow. It means the absolute world to us.
And we will see you back next Monday at 6 a.m.
Bye.